Good evening, everyone. Welcome and namaste. Welcome back to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. Let me go ahead and fix the camera so you can go ahead and see all of our poses today. Today is the inaugural class for our Hatha Yoga on Monday evenings, and welcome to the studio. So what does that mean? Hatha Yoga, all it is just your basic, when you think of yoga and the asana flows that come with, it's just the flows that we have that everyone knows. So we're going to be moving into poses you've heard before, like downward facing dog, upward facing dog, and maybe some poses you've never tried, like sugar cane or even half moon pose. But just so you know, this would be a lovely after work kind of flow if you would like to stretch out your body if you've been sitting, like everyone see me better? If you've been sitting all day working from home, like many of us have. But for this class, you don't really need a lot of equipment. All you need is a mat, or if you don't have a mat, all you need is some open space and an open mind. So with that being said, let's actually start seated today while we get grounded into our flow. So coming here, we're just going to end up seated, however you like to be seated. If you're going to cross your legs, go ahead and cross your legs and then recross them the other way. Whatever leg you have on top should be on the bottom. That way you can stretch your legs accordingly. And from here, I'm going to just end up sitting here in hero's pose, just on my knees. And to ground for our class, nothing special needs to be done. All you do is just need to sit down and breathe, allowing yourself to really think like, you know what, I'm in class and I'm here to take all of this time in this moment for myself. Excellent. Let's take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Excellent. And now that we have ourselves all relaxed and in our class, let's set our intentions, shall we? And if you're not quite sure how to set your intentions for a yoga class, allow me to share. My intention for this class is to lead you all in a wonderful flow that relaxes you, that brings you back to recentering yourself, maybe pushes you a little bit further physically than you thought you could go before. Something that really allows you to be open and ready to move. So, with that being said, let's start with our warm-up. So from here, we're actually going to start with a little bit of a lion's breath. And this lion's breath is intended to open up your throat chakra, to open up your throat to really release any stress that you might have had through the day. And in order to do that, it's very, very simple. You're just going to inhale deep, sharp through your nose and exhale, opening your mouth wide as you can, letting that tongue all the way out and just giving a good roar. So it's going to look something like this. And when you exhale, and really lean forward and get that yell out. Just really get it out. We're going to do a couple of those lion breaths, and then we're going to start our yoga practice today. So let's get it going. No need to be embarrassed. We're all here in the same class. Let's get it going. So inhale, fill up those lungs, and exhale, really loud lion's breath. Really let that roar out. Excellent. Let's do it again. Inhale, bring in it nice and deep. Filling up those lungs, getting as tall as you can. Exhaling lion's breath. Very good. Last one. Inhale, filling it up deep, bringing all as much air as you possibly can into your body, holding it, and then exhaling with the loudest roar. Excellent. I hope you feel better because I sure do. So if you don't feel relaxed and my neighbors don't think we're crazy, let's get it going, shall we? And I love a good lion's breath. It allows me to clear out the cobwebs of my throat. If you've seen The Nutty Professor, it clears out the epiglottis, gets all the phlegm and the mucus down, which is gross, but you know, lion's breath. It opens you up. So from here, let's relax here. I hope everyone has gotten any stress they needed to get out, completely out. And by the way, throughout this class, feel free to take a lion's breath whenever you may need it. So here, let's get started. Let's just gently recenter and refocus. Allow our breath to come back to its natural breathing pattern and its natural cadence. And let's start with just gentle saying yes and no's. So let's first start with yes. Just opening up the neck slowly. No need to whip it back and forth or getting them lower. Just opening up our neck muscles, allowing them to waken. And from here, let's shake our head no. Side to side. Doing great. Excellent. Make sure you keep breathing while you do this. Let's go back into yeses. Slowly warming up the muscles of our neck. Breathing, feeling relaxed. Let's go back into those nose. Back into the nose. Very good. Excellent. Slowing it down. Let's start to circle the head up to the right and coming down. So if you want to do this with your breath, just in as we go up, exhale as we go down. In. Very good. Slowly or as fast as you like. Don't make yourself dizzy. We're just warming up our muscles, letting our bodies know we're about to prepare them for service. Slowing it down, opposite direction. Very good. Slow it down. Bringing ourselves back to center. Let's take an inhale up as we exhale, bringing our right ear to our right side. Inhale that hands up. Exhale as you help your ear a little bit closer to that shoulder. And try not to bend yourself as you do. You want to keep yourself nice and straight, just bending gently, allowing your hand to rest. Just breathe it through. Excellent. Inhale, releasing that hand, bringing it back to our lap as we exhale our head up. Let's inhale that other ear, the left ear over to the left shoulder. Exhale, bringing that hand to gently rest on the ear, just softly helping to stretch that muscle. Excellent. Feeling good. Let's inhale, coming up to center. Excellent. Inhale, let's send our hands up as we bring them down into kind of interlace the fingers here and gently nudge your head back as you drop your head back in an exhale. Very good. Keep breathing. And this last exhale, release, allowing your arms to come to T's. Looking down, clasping your hands once more to the top of the head as we gently pull that head down into our chest. And with each exhale, allowing everything to pull a little bit more. Gently, gently, gently. Excellent. Inhale, releasing the hands. Okay. Now, if you're in kneeling and if you're not already in easy seat, let's go ahead and join each other seated on the mat here, crisscross applesauce. And if you've already been there, go ahead and re-switch your legs. If you're just joining me, let's switch those legs again. Coming to whatever one was on the bottom is now on the top. Excellent. And all of us here, now that we're sitting here, let's spread the flesh of our sits bone aside so that we can relax and be nice and centered in our sitting position. And from here, let's talk about alignment. You want to make sure, even though we are sitting, that your pelvis isn't tilted in an unnatural duck-like pose. So you want to just go ahead and rotate it back. You'll feel yourself slide back just a little bit. You don't want to slide back too far, but just a little bit. In your ribs, I know it makes sense to stand at attention, but you just want to push them down so that they sit right over your hip bones. And then those shoulders, let's roll them up and back, down the back. Excellent. And you can rest your hands on your lap or on your knees. And speaking of shoulders, let's start by rolling those shoulders. Inhaling as we loosen up the shoulders. It's really nice, starting from the top down, eh? Inhale. Exhale, keep rolling the shoulders this way, slowing it down. Let's roll the shoulders back the other way. Doing good. Slowing it down. Let's bring our shoulders up as an inhale, down and back with an exhale. Let's do that one more time. Rolling up for an inhale, down and back for an exhale. Fantastic. Let's inhale those hands out to a T. And we're going to go ahead and bend to our right side. So inhale to a T, placing our right arm, forearm on the mat as we come down on the floor. Exhaling, bringing that left arm around, holding ourselves for a seated side bend. Just breathing, feeling the stretch. And if it's within your practice today, you can inhale and go ahead and turn your head right up to the sky in that exhale. Just breathe. Excellent. From here, let's inhale ourselves, coming back to that wonderful T as we bend right back over to the other side. Feeling good. Go ahead and face up to the sky if it is within your practice this evening. Excellent. Feeling good. Wonderful. Let's inhale, coming back to that T. And as we exhale, let's turn ourselves to the right. Exhaling, dropping our arms, coming into a seated side twist. And I really, really, really love this pose, the seated side twist, because with each exhale, you can get just a little bit deeper, waking up that spine. And if you're lucky, you can get a little crack. Excellent. From here, let's inhale our arms up once more and turning, exhaling to the left side as we stretch out our back again. Really relaxing into your twist with each exhale. Wonderful. Doing great. Let's inhale those hands up once more and exhale. Let's come to our side bends again. Let's bend to the right. Just want to open up our spine, waking it up, sending our prana, our energy flow, allowing us to bend and move our body this evening. Maybe bending and moving our body a little bit more so than we have today. Allowing yourself to feel that stretch. Wonderful. Let's inhale back to a T. We're going to exhale, coming over to the left once more. And remember to keep that hip down on the opposite side. Just keep that right on the mat so you can get a good stretch in your side instead of just feeling yourself coming over. You really want to feel that stretch in your oblique muscles and your shoulders coming down. Oh, it feels just delightful. And now you know what's up. Let's inhale. Exhale, coming to that twist. Let me move a little forward so I don't keep hitting my wall. Doing good. Maybe this time you can twist a little bit deeper than you had before. Excellent. Each exhale, allowing yourself to just twist. Let's send that prana everywhere, yeah? Let's inhale, sending those arms up into the sky as we exhale, coming over to the left, twisting once more. Inhale, those hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, coming back. Let's roll the shoulders once more. Forwards and back. Slowing down, let's inhale the hands up. Let's drop the right arm behind the back as we exhale, bringing your left hand to your right elbow, helping it to slide down the back as we stretch ourselves here. Wonderful. Let's inhale ourselves to a T. Exhale, bring the right arm this time to the bottom as we pull and tug that shoulder with our left hand gently, opening up the front of the shoulder this time. Excellent. And that last inhale, let's inhale those hands to a T, up into the sky, this time dropping that left hand behind the back as we use our right arm, our right palm to help stretch out that shoulder. Let's inhale as we release. Exhale, bringing that arm across, pulling it to the opposite side, stretching out the front shoulder. Feeling good. Inhale, let's release. Wiggle the arms out. Wonderful. Now, we've warmed up the top half. Let's warm up the bottom half. Meet you at the top of the mat. So if you're familiar with yoga, and this is not your first time, we're going to head into our sun salutations, which helps to warm up that body. So coming to the front, and if this is your first time, welcome. I'm super excited to teach you these things. So let's come on up front here. Actually, I think I'm going to go this way. Come on up front. We're going to inhale our hands up into the sky, slightly bending back. Let's exhale as we bring our hands into prayer pose. And before we get started, I will go over alignment once more with you. Let's keep our feet about hip width apart. You can estimate that with your fist, just kind of guesstimate like each foot on the outside of your fist as you look down at your feet. You want to keep your knees nice and soft and your knees over your ankles, so not too far forward, not too far back. You want your hips and pelvis aligned, rolling that pelvis down into that natural tilt. You want to bring your ribs down so that your ribs are nice and over your hip bones. Roll your shoulders up and back, send the shoulder blades down your back of your spine. And then you want to just keep your head nice and neutral, straight forward. Your ears are over your shoulders as we keep everything in alignment. Excellent. So we inhale those hands up into the sky. Exhale, let's come down into a bit of a chair pose as we send our hips down as if we're going to sit. Inhale. As we exhale, let's swan dive, halfway coming forward. Inhale, bringing ourselves halfway flat back, touching our shins. Exhale, placing our hands on the mat. Let's take a step back, coming into our plank. And as we inhale, exhale through our Chaturanga. Inhale, coming up into our upward facing dog. Let's curl those toes. So we inhale, exhale, sending our bottom into the sky and our hips, walking out those legs, feeling good. From here, let's inhale and exhale as we walk to the top of the mat again, meeting our hands, coming into that halfway forward fold. Exhale, coming back down again. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale in prayer. Wonderful. Let's do that once more. Inhale our hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, chair. Inhale, swan dive, coming down to the mat. Come on up, flat back. As we exhale, placing our hands flat down on the mat, taking a step back, coming into our plank. Inhale, exhale as you come down to the mat. Inhale, coming up into our downward dog. Curl those toes. Exhaling as we send our hips forward or back into the sky. Let's walk out that dog. Start to loosen up the back of the legs, the ankles. This wakes up the wrists a little bit. Maybe rotate the wrists, opening up everything. Very good. From here, slowing it down, bringing ourselves to stillness. Let's walk our feet up to match our hands at the mat. Inhale, half back. Exhale, hands flat once more. Inhale, bring your hands up to the sky. Exhale into prayer pose. All right, that was our sun salutation part. A. So if you feel like you have that down, if you're new for this, part B will be easy. Let's add in some lunges, shall we? Inhale those hands up to the sky. Exhale as we come into our chair. Swan dive it down. Here we are, taking a step back. Let's come into our plank. Inhale, exhale yourself down on the mat. Inhale, upward dog. From here, let's curl those toes back. Exhale, sending our hips straight back into that downward dog. From here, let's inhale that left leg, or that right leg this time, up into the sky. Exhale as we place it between our hands. Shorten your stance if you need to. We're going to inhale, coming up into our high lunge, warrior one. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and straighten out that leg. Exhale, bring your hands back to the mat. Taking a step back. Inhale as you come down. Exhale onto the mat. Inhale once more as we come up into that downward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhale as we send our hips straight up into the sky. This time, let's inhale that left leg up into the sky. Exhaling, placing it down on the mat. Shortening your stance if necessary. Inhale those hands up. Coming into our warrior one. High lunge. Feeling good. Let's inhale, straightening that leg. Bringing our hands down to the mat as we exhale our way down. Inhale up. Coming into that upward dog. Curl the toes. Exhale. Downward dog. From here, you can walk, hop your feet to the top of the mat, meeting your hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, coming up. Exhaling into a prayer pose. Very, very good. Let's make sure we really get things open. So inhale, coming up. Exhale into our chair. Swan dive as we exhale, Inhale, flat back. Exhale those hands down to the mat. Take a step back. Coming to that plank. Inhale, exhale your way down. Inhale, coming up. Really feeling it. Curl those toes as we inhale once more. Exhale, sending those hips right back into that downward dog. Let's inhale, sending that right leg up into the sky. Exhale as we place our foot down on the mat. Inhale. Exhale yourself right into our warrior one. And let's pulse that leg just a bit. Keep waking up the ankles. Make sure your knee doesn't go over your toes. You want to track them all in the same direction. Just helping those joints say, hey, we're about to use you. Yeah, I like it. Inhale as we straighten that leg, coming down to the mat. Let's exhale as we come on down, guys. Inhale up to up dog. Feel it. Let it know it's yours. You own it. Let's curl those toes back as we send our hips up into the air, up into the sky, feeling it, being it. Let's inhale that left leg up this time into the sky. Exhale as we place it down on the mat, shortening your stance if necessary. Inhale, coming down into a warrior one pose. And go ahead and pulse. Let's pulse here. Excellent. Inhale, straighten that leg out as we place our hands back on the mat. Step back. Come on down into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Let's curl those toes as we take an inhale, exhaling, sending our bottoms up into the sky. Let's walk or hop our feet to the top of the mat to meet our hands. Inhale, come halfway. Exhale, hands down on the mat. Let's heel toe open just a little bit. And from here, let's grab our ankles. And I'm just going to face you so you can see. We're here in our forward fold, just in a slightly wider forward fold. We're just going to grab our heels and just kind of open up. Make sure everything's open in the back. Today's focus is going to be a little bit more standing. So I just want to make sure we have our balance and our hamstrings all opened up, glutes, and our quads ready to go. Let's do 2 more of these. Exhale as you squat. Inhale as you come up. All right, let's slow it down. We're back in our forward fold. Maybe let's grab our ankles, start a ragdoll flow. Just rotate everything around. Feeling your hips open, feeling your back open. If this isn't in your practice today, you're more than welcome to just hold still. If you have a block you can kind of hold on, we're just stretching out that lower back. Excellent. All righty, let's slow down our movements. Allow our breath to come back, stillness, come back to its regular cadence. Let's place our hands on the mat as we slow down. Heel toe our feet back together so that they're hip width apart. Inhale. Let's look up that flat back. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Inhale, sending ourselves up. Exhale into prayer pose. Excellent. So now you should be feeling nice and warmed up. I don't know about you guys, but I certainly am. And here I'm going to actually encourage a water or tea break. From here, let's get started on our flow. So we're already in prayer pose. Releasing your hands. Let's come into mountain pose. You can move yourself back and forth. As we allow the energy of the day to just kind of drain out of us, we just want to hold this rooting pose for a few moments as we breathe, just to root ourselves back into our stillness, into our fire, into our own energy. Maybe some emails you didn't really want to deal with today, maybe some phone calls, some people. I get it. This time is just for you. We're just using this gentle movement to relax our bodies and bring our focus back to us. And I see some of you have your kiddos with you. Hi, guys. It's so adorable to see all your kids with you as well. So everybody, we're just bringing our focus back to ourselves, kiddos included. And kiddos can have stressful days too. Excellent. So now that we're nice and centered, let's inhale our hands up into the sky, clasping them together. You can even do Charlie's Angels fingers if you like. From here, let's inhale. Exhale as we drop ourselves over to the right side. Now don't send your hips out, just bend again right at the obliques. This is just another further stretch coming further down the leg. You can even grab your wrist and help it along here as well. And let's do that in a flow. So inhale, coming up, exhale, going to the other side. And let's do this with breath. It's 2 more on each side. Once more on each side after this. And last one. Let's take one deep inhale as we come into our back bend, sending our arms back, bending far back as we can. 5-pointed star. And if it is within your practice, you may also inhale and exhale to a flow. Like a willow, if you will. Slowing it down. Last one, as you take a great big inhale, exhale, coming into that full forward fold. Just warming up those hips once more. I'm going to turn so you can see me coming next here for our next movement. Waking up those hips. Let's take a step back into with our right leg, coming up into warrior one. Exhale, bending back, crescent pose. And just hold here and breathe. Now I took a step back with my right leg. If you step back with your left, that's fine. Just remember to switch when we come back to the other side. Breathing good. Excellent. Since my left leg is forward, I'm just going to turn and face you. Inhale as we straighten our legs, turning that back foot out, whichever back foot it is. Let's exhale, sending our hips back as we extend our arms down, coming into, our pyramid pose. Actually, you want to turn that foot right back in and facing, coming into our pyramid pose. Now, this is a head to knee standing, and if you need a little bit of modification, feel free to grab some blocks or books or anything that help you relax into this pose. feeling it as we hold here. And let's hold here for 2 more breaths. Breathing into our pyramid pose, sending our hips back, keeping them nice and square. Excellent. As we transition into our next pose, let's shift our weight forward onto our front foot, making sure our hips are nice and centered towards the front by pretending there's a marble at the top of our thighs that we're holding. Let's take an inhale as we slowly lift our back leg off of the mat, straightening, bringing our hands out in front of us as we firmly establish into Warrior 3. Now, if this is not in your practice today, you can actually put a block behind you if you'd like to rest your foot on something while you're in Warrior 3, or you can even hold a block in front of you for the Warrior 3 pose. But we're just going to balance here in Warrior 3. And don't feel so bad if you can't quite grasp it. It's totally good. Here's my Warrior 3, and sometimes I fall right out of it, and that's totally fine. The point of yoga is what you're learning on the way to holding its pose. Excellent. Let's inhale, exhale as we release our foot down, releasing our hands, bringing our feet back together as we come back into mountain pose for just a moment. Let's inhale those hands up to the sky. Stretching, feeling good. Let's exhale, coming into our chair pose and hold here for a moment. I know this is not everyone's favorite pose, but hear me out. This is a very grounding and rooting pose. It's also very heart opening. So while you're here in this pose, sway to the music that you're listening to. Allow your breathing to be normal. And think to yourself, I inhale all the love in the universe, and I exhale, sending love from myself to those who may need it. There you go. And that's how you get to the pose. Let's hold here, 2 more breaths. And let's exhale, straightening our legs out. Felt good, huh? Great. From this pose, let's cross our legs, one over the other, almost into a tree pose. We're going to come into eagle legs. Inhale those arms out to a T. Let's send our right arm, this time over top, left arm underneath to match our legs. Left is bottom, right is on top. Crossing our arms. Let's inhale, exhale, coming into that Garuda pose. If it is within your practice, please squat down as if you were doing a chair. If not, standing tall in Garuda is the way to be. Let's hold here for 5 breaths, however you may take your pose. Let's take one last inhale. And as we exhale, uncurl your arms, stepping wide. Let's exhale down into a forward fold and hold here. I like to rock back and forth just a little bit, very gently, in my forward fold. Keeping my head a little bit up. Relaxing my legs. Feeling good. And from here, I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see me. Let's take that, step that foot back, whatever foot you step back first. We're going to take that, stepping it back, dropping it to the side, inhaling our hands up as we exhale, coming into our Warrior 1. Whew. And go ahead and pulse that leg if you feel it. We're holding here and breathing. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Last breath, taking that inhale. As we inhale, straighten that leg a little bit. And as we exhale, let's rebend the leg, bringing that arm over, letting your forearm flat onto that knee, coming into extended side angle pose. If this is within your practice and you'd like to move a little bit more forward, you can come back into a balance pose by grabbing a block or placing your hand flat on the mat. Inhale as you come into a half moon pose. Holding it, breathing, whichever pose you decide to take. And if you decided to further your practice with a half moon pose, let's exhale that foot back to the ground, meeting everyone in extended side angle. Inhale, cartwheeling, straightening that leg, turning that foot to face front just like the other as we exhale into our wide forward fold. And if it was within your practice, let's inhale coming up, bringing those arms behind us. Exhale as we drop into our bound wide forward fold. With every breath, allowing the shoulders to relax a little bit more as your arms bend a little bit more forward. Very good. As we keep breathing. Keep breathing. And if a forward fold isn't in your practice today, just even standing, your arms bound together, same stretch. And on your last breath, however you took your forward fold, let's inhale or exhale, releasing those arms, holding onto the floor, taking an inhale, exhale as we drop our feet to the mat, coming into Malasana or Yogi Squat. Arms in prayer pose if you'd like, or open, however you'd like to receive. Just make sure you're not crunched. You want to make sure your chest is nice and open, spreading the knees, dropping the shoulders, and Malasana as we breathe. Excellent. Let's bring our breathing back. Setting our hands on the mat. Let's inhale, sending our hips up into the sky. Exhale, whichever foot's going to be in the front. So for me, my right foot's in the front because that's the one I step back with. Let's turn our feet. Exhale as we come up into our crescent pose or warrior one, reaching back. In fact, let's drop our arms here, keeping our legs in this warrior one. Let's inhale up. Exhale, bringing them back, finding our arms. From here, let's inhale, dropping our chest forward as we exhale, coming into a humble warrior. Let's really change things up just a little bit, you know? I like it. Breathing as we're holding in our humble warrior. If this is all that's in your practice today, that's also wonderful as well. Still a humble warrior, still bound, still good. And however you took your warrior pose today, let's inhale, all meeting here standing. Exhale as we relax our arms. Let's straighten out that leg, perhaps shortening your pose if you need to, grabbing some blocks if it's within your practice. Inhale, coming forward as we send our hips back, bending into pyramid pose. Now, if you're feeling like it's not in your practice today to keep that front leg straight, just bring your other foot forward, coming into pyramid pose, head to knee. Make sure you square your hips forward. You want to make sure, pretend that you have like a marble at the top of your thighs here to keep everything straight and forward. Good posture, good breathing, good breath. And from here, Let's slowly begin to transition into our warrior three, shifting our weight forward, bringing that leg back if necessary. Lift your back leg. Steady yourself as you inhale your hands forward. Exhale, warrior three. And really grip your bottom foot on the mat there, keeping your hips nice and square as you breathe. If this balance pose is not in your practice today, you can keep using your blocks and keep your leg up if you like, or keep your hands forward. Warrior three. The important part is you breathe. Breathe through the pose, through the asana. Really feel it. Heck, one-handed is good too. Excellent. Take an inhale as we lower our leg to the floor. Exhale as we lower our arm back. Let's bring our feet together, hip width apart. Inhale, I'm going to turn to face you, coming up. And as we exhale, settle ourselves into our child's pose. And for this child's pose, don't collapse your knees. If you have a block or anything, you just want to hold them between your knees. It makes it a little easier to hold yourself in this pose. Breathe. You could even hold your hands in prayer pose if it's in your practice. And let's inhale, releasing, coming into mountain pose, removing the block if you have one. Now let's step into Gurudasana, or eagle pose. Let's take our left leg this time, cross it over the front, taking our arm, our left arm, crossing it over the top, right along the bottom, crossing those arms. As we inhale, let's exhale, coming into the pose. You can take a full straight Garuda, or if it's within your practice today, coming into that squat chair pose. Gurudasana. However you take your eagle pose today, please just keep breathing. Let's take one last inhale. As we exhale, our arms apart, taking a little bit of a wide pose. Exhale, coming into that forward fold for just a moment, rotating those hips a little bit. Taking your foot, stepping back, whichever foot you step back with. Mine was the left. Inhale, turning it to the side. Let's come into our warrior two. Holding and focusing. Making sure your knees don't go over your toes. Breathing into your pose. Feeling nice and strong. Really feeling that energy. Shooting through your fingers, from the back to the past, front to the future, yourself in the middle here, centered in the present moment. Let's inhale and begin to send our hips back as we turn ourselves. Exhaling, resting that arm onto that front knee, coming into extended side angle pose. And remember here, if it's within your practice or if you'd like to expand today, send your hips up, coming in to the half moon pose. Ooh, nice crack in the hips there for me. Excellent. And however you take it, go ahead and breathe. All right, however you joined, let's all meet back in our extended side angle pose. Excellent. Let's turn our feet to the front as we come up. Exhale, let's bring our hands down behind our back once more, clasping them together. And if it is within your practice, inhale Exhale yourselves down into a bound wide forward fold. Maybe move your hips around just a little bit, opening up, feeling good. I like to pull myself up onto my toes and back down, but that's only because I have the balance. If you have the balance, please do so. If not, please don't. Excellent. Inhale, bringing our arms down. Exhale, releasing, shaking out. Feeling good. Great. How do you feel after that flow? It feels really good to feel recentered. I feel like all of the stress of the day has kind of just left me. So now let's find ourselves seated once again onto our mat, coming into easy seat. And however you last had your legs on top, let's switch them around. Excellent. From here, recentering, coming back here. Wonderful. Slowing our heart rate down if necessary. Feeling good. Wonderful. From here, let's extend our legs straight out in front of us, coming into that forward legs here. We're going to inhale. Let's bring that right foot up, crossing it over our left here with an exhale. Let's inhale our hands up to the sky. Exhale, let's turn towards the right side here, coming into our Lord of the Fishes pose. Just pushing, gently pushing that elbow against that right knee to stretch out our piriformis. Coming to our stretch. And breathe. And make sure that other leg that's active in front of you is still active. You want to keep your feet flexed and pointed back to its ankle. And let's take one last inhale and exhale. Inhale our arms up, release our legs, wiggle out our arms and legs. And let's do the same on the other. So inhale, straightening up once more. Let's bring that left leg, helping it over to the left, crossing, inhaling our arms up, bringing our elbow into our knee as we cross, holding ourselves in Lord of the Fishes pose. And keep breathing. Keeping that straightened leg nice and active. And let's take our last inhale and exhale in this pose. And releasing our arms and legs, wiggling out everything. Coming back into seated. Wonderful. Let's bring our feet together, placing the soles of our feet together as we come to our cobbler's pose, sitting up nice and straight. Inhale, let's pop out our legs. Maybe give ourselves a gentle foot massage, rubbing up and down our arches, maybe rolling our toes a little bit. Let's inhale those hands up into the sky once more as we exhale, pulling ourselves forward, coming into our forward fold. Now remember, when you forward fold, I'm going to turn to the side. You don't have to worry about doing this. You want to just make sure that fold comes from your hips. So you're really stretching out your back and the back of your legs and everything. This only stretches out nothing. This gets you a real good one in there. So holding this, feeling good. Now for our next pose, I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. See if we can give this a try. I'm going to move our legs forward just a little bit. Taking your peace fingers here, let's hook our big toes. Inhale yourself forward. Exhale. If it's in your practice, roll back. Coming into our happy baby pose. Now, let me make sure that I'm retaining in camera for you guys, but however you like to get into your happy baby, roll into your happy baby and feel happy. Exhale into the pose. Let's roll our bodies around. Really feel good. And for those of you who have babies, let's emulate your babies a little bit, how cute they look, or they looked, or how when they were babies, how cute they looked. Maybe you've seen babies recently, how cute they look. Straightening out your legs if you can, getting that stretch in. feeling good. It actually felt really nice. Let's take 2 last breaths in here in this happy baby pose. And let's on our last inhale, pulling everything in nice and tight as if you're coming into a cannonball. Let's exhale everything straight, right down onto the mat as we relax, coming into our Shavasana. In this pose, all you need to do is just lay down nice and comfortably. Let your feet relax, your hands relax, everything dropping open, letting your eyes gently shut, letting your breath come back into its natural movement, its natural breathing process. As we breathe into the last, most important part of our yoga flow, the Shavasana. And from time to time, it's okay if you get a little distracted. You start thinking of the million other things that you need to do. Don't worry about it. Just relax and draw your attention back to your breath. No need to worry about a thing. Don't even think about the clock. I have my eye on that. You just relax. Wonderful. And before we come back from our Shavasana, before we bring ourselves back into our focus, I'd like to read for you a saying from the Daily Stoic. This particular reading is on bad dreams. It reads, "Clear your mind and get a hold on yourself. And as when awakened from sleep and realizing it was only a bad dream upsetting you, wake up and see that what's there is just like those dreams." The author Raymond Chandler was describing most of us when he wrote in a letter to his publisher, "I never looked back, although I had many uneasy periods looking forward." Thomas Jefferson once joked in a letter to John Adams, "How much pain have cost us the evils which have never happened?" And Seneca would put it best, "There is nothing so certain in our fears that's not yet more certain in the fact that most of what we dread comes to nothing." Many of the things that upset us, the Stoics believed, are a product of the imagination, not reality. Like dreams, they are vivid and realistic at the time, but preposterous as once we come out of it. In a dream, we never stop to think and say, "Does this make any sense?" No, we go along with it. The same goes with our flights of anger or fear or of other extreme emotions. Getting upset is like continuing the dream while you're awake. The thing that's provoked you wasn't real, but your reaction was. And so, from the fake comes real consequences, which is why you need to wake up right now instead of creating a nightmare. Fitting ending. And with that, I invite you to bring movement back into your body by wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers, moving your legs and your arms, taking a deep inhale through your nose, and exhaling sharply through your mouth. Allowing your body to wake up and regain its consciousness. Gently roll yourself over to one side, either the right or the left, but keeping your eyes closed if it is within your practice. Holding yourself there in that moment. Let's take an inhale as you gently push yourself into easy seated. Exhaling, coming into the pose. And if you haven't, please keep your eyes shut as we inhale those hands all the way up into the sky. Exhaling, bringing them down into prayer pose. Please flutter your eyes open if they haven't already done so. Well, thank you, everyone, for spending this evening with me. I had such a wonderful time in our Hatha Yoga class. And if you enjoyed this Hatha Yoga flow, returning back to our senses after a long work day, please come back next Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we will do another flow. So, as always, I'm going to leave you with be the light that you wish to see in the world. And most importantly, see the light that you wish to see in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Excellent, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by the Asana Sana Yoga Studio. I'm Sana, and as always, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye. Good night, everybody.